All right, everybody. Glad that you're here with us for another case study. I got Ashley Thomas all the way from St. Louis, and we are talking about Totally Committed Ministries, which really is, I think, the umbrella organization for Totally Committed Ministries Christian Academy. This is a private school. So, for those of you serving, and what age do you serve, Ashley? Just for
We
everybody's.
serve, we started preschool, so preschool 3, and we go to 8th grade.
All right, so for all the families who are looking for an affordable, quality, high quality Christian environment
Yes.
to get their children educated in the St. Louis area, feel free to contact them. And you can go to TCM Christian Academy.net. I've been fishing around the website. It's a beautiful website, by the way, and they
Thank
just
you. Thank
invested a lot of money. So please, again, visit TCM Christian Academy.net. And so with that being said, I'm not going to recount Ashley's story. That's her story, and I think it needs to stay that way. But I will just recount some of the things that she's looking to do. They were looking to do a big launch this year, and as we all know, the pandemic hit. So right now, instead of serving 40 plus students, they're going to focus on serving 20 students. They are looking to raise money, major money for a van or a bus, and they're looking to hire teachers. And so before I go into my counsel on how to make that happen for those watching, wherever you're watching this, if you want to be that person that's going to donate and you can just circumvent any advice I'm about to give, go to tcmchristianacademy.net, go ahead, give that money. Go ahead, donate those resources and give not a used van or a bus. We need something that's newer so that we can transport our kids to wherever they need to go to enhance their educational experience. Does that sound about right, Ashley?
Yes, definitely,
All right.
definitely.
All
And
right.
and
So
if
I'm a,
I can say, I'm
yeah, go ahead.
sorry.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
One of our curriculums that we do is the Becca Curriculum. And
Mhm.
so, if anybody knows about the Becca Curriculum, they specialize in an amazing phonics program. They're good in math and science. And when it comes to standardized testing, the curriculum prepares your children for the ACT, it prepares them for the standardized testing, and most of our students come out a grade level higher than their average peers.
All right. Cool. And so I'm gonna say this for you, Ashley. Don't you say a word. When y'all donate this van or bus, we want it to be new. All right. Nothing used or raggedy. Don't say nothing, Ashley. I'm gonna say it for you. You don't want people mad at you. I'm gonna say it. I'm the consultant. So we want a new van or bus. All right. So listen, there are. I want to walk you through the three secrets I teach my students and clients in terms of how to raise major money. People come to me to talk about raising major money. You can easily on your own, go to Walmart, Target, or Home Depot and get a quick $2,500 here and there. But that's not really going to put a dent in the budget you have, particularly when you look at getting multiple buses, because we want to get a couple of buses in house, not just one for the school year. I want to go through the three secrets. I want to offer a suggestion about enrollment,
Okay.
which, take it or leave it, but then I'll talk deeply about fundraising over the next 17 minutes or so that we have left together. The three secrets goes like this. The third fastest way to raise money is to have a strategy.
Mhm.
Okay, every organization should have a strategic plan, action plan, or some sort of plan to get them from point A to point B, C, D, E, F, G. You need a plan to make that happen. So that does raise money, but it's the third fastest way to raise money. The second fastest way to raise money is performance. And clearly, you guys have been in the business for quite some time. Your parents are the legacy holders of this organization from the mid 90s. So I won't dwell too much on that. But for people watching, you got to have a background performance results to help generate money, and that is the second fastest way to unlock money. And do you know the fastest way to unlock money, Ashley?
I'm going to let you tell me.
All right, there you go. It is to have partnerships. Partnerships is the fastest way to
Yeah.
unlock money. Partnerships. So just to touch on enrollment for a minute, I know the pandemic has paused and created kind of a downward projection of enrollment. Because to be
Mhm.
safe, you're going to enroll 20 students. So this is going to be an exclusive enrollment this year. And if I get it wrong, tell me.
Okay.
To make sure students and teachers and principals are safe. But one of the things I immediately thought about, Ashley, is the opportunity you guys have in the midst of this environment to actually expand the school without expanding the school.
Mhm.
I'm just going to just share this and take it or leave it. But I think there's a huge opportunity to introduce online learning
Mhm.
for more students in the greater St. Louis area who could attend the academy without attending the academy. And
Mhm.
this will allow you to keep to safely educate kids, expand kids, and expand the revenue. I'm a fundraising consultant, so I'm going to talk about the revenue, but you get to expand the revenue for your school if you're able to do online learning. I know you're getting ready to launch school August
17th.
17th. So that's around a corner, and this advice may be cutting it kind of close, but this may be something of interest because think about this. The pandemic is expected to rage on a little bit longer. Parents are probably forced to look at other educational opportunities or entry points for the kids and may not have the time, capacity, or patience to educate their kids, but they
Exactly.
may be willing to pay an affordable price. And if you want to know the pricing, go to tcchristianacademy.net and contact Ashley and her family. They will hook you up. But they may be looking for an affordable price to educate their kids in a quasi home school environment, right?
Mhm.
And this could be a huge opportunity to offer education at maybe an even lower price point, but still affordable for parents and still profitable for the school. So I just wanted to drop that in your lap. And hopefully it resonates in some way, somehow. Now, to get to the point of more teachers to whether teach live or teach online and to
Mhm.
get a bus, I want to walk through the three concepts, three principles I share with you about how to raise major money. Because when we start talking about vans and buses and we're talking about newer quality items, I want to make sure that we're clear. You're talking about 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 that we need to raise times 2 or 3, right? We need to make sure we
Mhm.
keep people, the students, safe, social distancing, and to buy these buses and vans for future growth that is to come. If the Lord wills it, right? And so we need to
Yes.
figure out how to raise money. So let's start with strategy secret number one, which is the third fastest way to raise money is through strategy. You got to figure out who has the vans or buses. Yes, dealerships are one of them. You don't want to sleep on that. But you want to look at the various types of dealerships that exist and what may come with that. Now, part of this, I'm going to skip around. I'm going to start with strategy and talk about partnership, which is the fastest way to raise money. One
Mhm.
of the ways to get this funded is to make an agreement with the dealership to have them sponsor the vehicle, meaning it might come with the vehicle being wrapped in the name of the donor, the car dealership, or the place you get the van from, and the name of the school all at the same time. So let's say
Yes.
Clark Ford company, right, decides to sponsor the school, and you'll see Clark branded with the Ford brand, and then we'll put the TCM Christian Academy brand on there as well. When you look at that, that can actually be a huge opportunity in multiple ways because that may allow the dealership to smartly donate the van, which will be a
Mhm.
tax write-off if they're
Yep.
selling vehicles. You can also begin to position your school and your bus or in your van as a driving billboard. So while the van may cost $50,000 retail, you are getting that or more, Mr. Clark dealership, for allowing us to drive all over the greater St. Louis area where people are going to see the brand of your car dealership. The value of that needs to be calculated by you and in partnership with the dealership because they have marketing costs. And if they
Mhm.
can write off your van, not as a charitable donation only,
Mhm.
but also as a marketing expense, you're in a different space. This is opening you up to a whole different space when it comes to negotiation. So for those listening and for you too, Ashley, when you're positioning and selling your nonprofit, think like a business owner, because in fact, you are a business owner. You are having conversations with other business owners and you're trying to negotiate what a sponsorship looks like. And the sponsorship is not just about the charitable gift, which is what everybody goes to. This is about marketing dollars, because I'm going to assume, actually, and we're just going to use fake numbers, you are going to drive, let's say, 10 to 15,000 miles a year with that van, per van. And if that equates to traveling from multiple sections of the city, the greater St. Louis area, and maybe, let's say, 60 miles out of your center, that means that that van is a billboard that is reaching spaces and places where the car dealership cannot and will not reach, whether it's in an urban area, a suburban area, or a rural area connected to St. Louis. So when it comes to strategy, and when it comes to partnership, you got to start thinking about marketing expenses associated with the donation. Also, think about churches in this season who have completely switched to the online environment. This is a huge opportunity for you, because if there are larger churches in your region who have very good brand production teams and they're doing online church very, very well, they may have also discovered this is more lucrative for us to do church online, because our seniors are calling in or watching, our middle age families with children are watching. We have a very small group that's showing up, and by the grace of God, our revenue is either on par or a little bit better, right? This also means that if online church is popping the way I think it might be popping at a number of area churches, that means they have unused assets that have not been used or driven the past 4 to 5 months, and that may continue for the next 12 months. This is extremely critical for anybody looking for a donation like what Ashley's looking for a van or bus, because large churches are just like large corporations. They cannot simply open up the doors of the church. Now, I know everybody wants to go back to church and get their shot on and get their praise on, but let's take the spirituality out for a moment. These pastors, these elders, these deacon boards are running corporations. The mega church is a corporation. This is not to desensitize folks to the spirituality element, but think about this. You're paying for a mortgage, you're paying for heating and cooling in the facility, and the facility must be cleaned and sanitized to prevent further spread of the pandemic called coronavirus or COVID-19. As a result, large corporations, multi-million dollar corporations, and nonprofits are slow to open their doors and are much more apt to doing things in an online environment. I can tell you, because that's what we're doing with our nonprofit. We're a $10 million nonprofit. We have quickly shifted to an online environment and have been pretty good at it. And to be honest with you, by the grace of God, right? So we have successfully transitioned. We're not fast to reopen our doors unless we're mandated by some of our partners. And so this mindset is baked into these larger churches that are multi-million dollar churches, multi-million dollar revenues, multiple staff people, X number of dollars they're spending per year. They're slower, which means that if they cannot open the doors safely to the masses, they are going to either have a completely online worship experience or a hybrid experience. This also means that the susceptible population group in St. Louis and around the country are our seniors. Church vans and church buses are typically used to pick up seniors. And if seniors are not coming just for their safety and the safety of everyone else, then you have an asset that is sitting in the parking lot that has not been turned on the past 4 months. And if I'm going to speculate that a real good church, a good church maintenance staff person is going to maintain those vans, that means that those vans are gently used with low mileage on it. This pandemic has provided a huge opportunity for you, Ashley, where you can now approach these churches and ask for a donation of a van or two, and or a low sale price or a low rental fee for those vans, because those vans are assets that are not generating money. Not to just to poo-poo the spirituality, because I'm a pastor too, but think about this. Those vans are designed to pick up the sick and shut-in, bring them to the church facility, minister to their soul, collect their tithe, and transition them back to their home. If those vans are not picking up people to bring them to the church to give their tithe, but people are giving directly online, then that van is no longer producing revenue. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say pastors think like this. I'm just trying to speak straight to you and everyone that's listening. When you're trying to get a donation, you got to talk business. If the van is not generating revenue, if the van is not being used for ministry purposes, would you, Pastor so-and-so, Bishop so-and-so, would you consider donating the van or allowing us to rent the van? And what you can also say, and this is business, you can also say that, Pastor so-and-so, if you have ever had a dream that God called you to open up a school or to serve kids who are 3 years old to 12 or 13, I think it will be an amazing partnership to have your church as a partner of TCM Christian Academy. And what we're asking of our partners is to donate a van or a bus, and to pay for the maintenance, the gas, and the driver. Notice how we're switching this here. This is not about a donation. This is not about a charity case. You want to get out of that mindset. I'm not accusing you of it, but I'm saying this in general for every nonprofit looking to raise this type of resource. This is not a charity case. This is business. So you want to talk business to churches. You want to talk business to dealerships. You want to talk business to other schools that have vans that are unused, other private schools that are bigger than you who are dealing with the same thing and are looking at that van sitting in their parking lot, wasting money, costing them money, costing insurance money, and it's in pretty good condition. You want to approach them. Hey, I noticed that you had to downgrade your projections for enrollments, and you already know this because you had to do it. So now you know the business, and you can approach them and say, hey, I can put that asset to work. Would you rent it to me for a year at a low cost? Would you sell it to me, or would you just give it to me? Or can we have a partnership that, listen, as my kids mature and they reach a certain academic level, maybe we start to transition kids out of my school to yours in exchange for a donation of a new van, gas, insurance, and driver. Now, the other thing you want to start to think about is you said you want to do teachers. Now, this next idea, really, I'm skipping the performance piece because I'm going to assume you've been doing your thing. So I'm still talking about strategy and partnerships. One of the ways to raise major money, I'm talking about six-figure money to get teachers, to get tutors, and to get vans and buses in-house. You could go the individual donor route, which is always available to you. You're going to have to figure out how to become attractive to individual donors, having people commit. And I'll talk about that at the end. I'll close with that. But I do want to offer this idea to you. You want to begin to think about how you can offer programming to your kids that's fundable by funders. You have a captive audience. So let's go with the projection of 40 students you wanted to serve this year. Now, let's say you wanted to serve kids who are between the grades of 6th and 8th grade. This is a hot area, and I just did a case study with another gentleman, and I'm also doing this with our own nonprofit. There's this transition between 8th grade to 9th grade that is very attractive to funders. Because if a kid does not successfully transition from 8th grade to 9th grade, and you probably already know this, this means that we can probably project out the lack of economic sustainability that young person will have as they become an adult. They will likely they will likely use public assistance and really become a drain to our community as opposed to an asset. So that 8th grade to 9th grade transition is huge. Funders are really attracted to young adult programming that's focused on mentorship, that's focused on educational training and services, and that's focused on career development, even at this young age. The reason why that's key is because you're looking out for the economic welfare of a young person. Right? As an educator, you're concerned about that. You not only want to train young people to grow up in a Christian environment and culture, but you're educating them so that they can be contributors to their community, start businesses, or land a job, or lead a business, or grow in the community and begin to become homeowners and contributors to the community. So if you can start tapping into looking at funders that serve kids between the age of 12 and 18, I know you don't serve 18-year-olds, but you want to look at this because the funding is there, and the funders will tell you what they're looking to fund. The beautiful thing is you have a captive audience. You have a captive audience that's paying tuition. So you don't even have to recruit. You already have, let's say, 40 people already a part of your recruitment pool, which is already attracted to a funder. Now you can say, I want to start program A, B, and C. That's a middle school to high school transition program. And we need about $250,000 to run it. That program, once if budgeted correctly, can pay for the principal of the school. It can pay for teachers. It can pay for mentors. It can pay for assistants. It can pay for adjunct instructors. It can pay for school trips. It can pay for a van or a bus. It can pay your rent at the church where you're held in your school. It can pay for your online school. It can pay for everything you've ever imagined on top of charging tuition. You do not stop that because the after school program is funded by the funder, but we still charge tuition from 7 to 2:30 p.m. to teach your kid. What you have in effect done is almost double, triple, quadrupled your revenue. And now the projection of TCM Christian Academy is looking totally different. Because now you got cash flow coming in from a paying customer. We're talking business, right? You got cash flow coming in from donors. Then you do your galas 2 or 3 times a year, and you're looking at ticket sales, you're looking at food sponsorships, you're looking at sponsorships from other companies, and you're raising another $50,000 to $100,000. We're doing a virtual fundraiser this year, our nonprofit, and we are doing a beer tasting. I don't drink beer, but it's a thing where I live, and so we're doing a virtual beer tasting. So we work with a local distributor where they made a special brew branded for our 25th anniversary of our organization. When people order a $250 ticket, they will then get their 6-pack, for sake of argument, shipped to them. Our cost is around $50. That spread is almost $200 per person, and we expect to sell around 150 tickets, right? You do the math. That does not include sponsorships. That does not include people who say, I love the story, and I'm going to commit to giving $1,000 a year to your organization. When you do the math, you look at the product you're selling in a virtual environment, the sponsorships, and then the commitments, the financial commitments. Look, you may be looking at a $500,000, $1 million school now, which is a totally different space that you're in right now. So that last piece of advice was for individual donors. It's all about storytelling. Who have you served? How many lives have your parents changed since the mid-90s? That's what, 2005, 2015. That's almost 25 years of ministry in the St. Louis area. Who have these kids grown up to become? What have they done to change the community? This story, the affordability of private school, the augmented view of homeschool now, being more attractive to your target population is an amazing story. I am the father of 3 kids that are being homeschooled by my wife. We do it full time, and this was pre-pandemic. I'm all in. Like, I'm sold. I'm about that life. My wife has been doing a major, amazing job. Shout out to my wife if she ever looks at this episode, right? But I'm a believer. And I believe that there are other parents who are Christians, who are people of faith, who want their kids growing up in a safe environment. And maybe they will never send them back to a public school. But I'll stay home. I'll work from home. I'll start my business from home just so I know that Junior is in another room being trained by TCM Christian Academy. They have teachers, they have counselors. I don't have to worry. I don't have to learn how to do 6th grade math because it's been a long time. I'm too old for that. I don't got to worry about 8th grade science. I don't got to worry about school trips. I don't got to worry about social activities because they got a new van, a new bus that was donated, and my tuition is paying for it. I might be a willing consumer now in this online environment to do a quasi homeschool environment. And I'll send Junior to school 2-3 days a week so he can get out the house. We get some time apart. He also gets to socialize, have fun, be on a basketball team or do whatever. And I get to do whatever I got to do for work. Or I may be able to send Junior, keep him home with grandma and make sure, look at the baby in the background, and make sure that the internet connection is stable. Right. And all he got to do is plug in his iPad, his laptop, and he going to school because Miss Ashley and the team at TCM Christian Academy.net, want to make sure we shout that out. They're doing an amazing job teaching. You guys have, I think, an explosive, and I can't overstate this, an explosive opportunity during this pandemic to explode and multiply multiple times over. So that's my advice. I'm a pause there because I definitely went over our time. How was that sitting with you?
Oh man, you got my wheels turning. They're going right now. I'm like, oh, okay. Definitely some great nuggets for me to take back to my mother and my father, for them to take to the board of directors and say, hey, we have just less than a month away. And the good thing about it is that we've been doing this for some years, and I'm also a product of a Becca Curriculum. So I've been doing a Becca since preschool, kindergarten. And so, now I'm married and my children are coming up in it. And so I'm looking at that and saying, okay, yeah, I can definitely see this. So definitely something I'm going to take to the board of directors and say, we can do this. It's less than a month, but there are people who are still looking. The school districts have just released what they're going to do. And people are like, oh, what are we going to do? So I definitely think that this is something that we're going to, look into. And if the parents are out there that are saying, yes, I would definitely pay tuition for online learning, then, this is something I definitely think that TCM Christian Academy can definitely help parents out in. You're muted.
I said before we end the recording, I definitely want to, because I have some other things to share with you offline. I definitely want to shout out the school one more time. Now, how did you hear about me by chance?
So I actually was on Facebook, and I'm a part of the Black Nonprofits group.
All right.
And
Which
so,
is
yes.
founded and created by Dr. Rowe, who is
Yes.
actually located in the St. Louis area. So for the BIN group, when y'all finally see this video, if you're in the St. Louis area, you got any kids between the ages of
3 to 12, 13 years old. So it depends on what their child is, but preschool 3 to 8th grade.
Come on now. Preschool
Yes.
age to 8th grade. If you got any kids that are age appropriate, go to TCM Christian Academy.net, tcmchristianacademy.net. They've been doing this for forever and a day. And if you ever want to if you ever want to do a consult with me, Dr. Clark, live, or even in private, and you just want to talk about your fundraising goals, you can find me at nonprofitfundingstrategies.com. Again, it's nonprofitfundingstrategies.com. Scroll to the bottom, schedule a consult, and I'll be glad to help you. Ashley, thank you so much. Hang on for a moment as we end this recording.
Thank you.